Welcome, welcome, welcome. Just because you can't see my face doesn't mean I don't exist. My name is Rob Gegner, and we are the Traveling Mastermind, coming to you
Hello,
live
hello.
every single
Hello.
day from the internet with, starring Dan Kirby and Corey Sales.
Hello, hello, people. What up, what up? Representing Spain.
So, today we're going to be rocking your universe, and despite the title of today's hangout, which is labeled credibility, we're really not going to be talking about that. We're just going to dive into the topic that we said we were going to dive into yesterday, which is quantum physics and how it applies to you, your wealth, your money, your success, and your happiness and your business. So you're going to want to pay attention to this. You're going to want to take really good notes because it's not this mumbo jumbo. It's not just this like crazy scientific jargon that's hard to understand with like particles and atoms and neutrons, and this is actually some real stuff, man. Some real stuff that you can take away and implement in your business right away if you actually get it. So we are the Traveling Mastermind. You can leave your comments and your questions at www.facebook.com/ the Traveling Mastermind. So before we jump into the reading, guys, is there anything you want to do to pre-frame what we're talking about here, or to drive into the importance of today's topic?
Absolutely, guys. I mean, quantum mechanics, quantum physics is all about what makes up the universe, what makes each and every one of us, how the universe works, how everything is attracted or detracted from our lives. I would suggest, just before we start, if you haven't watched What the Bleep Do We Know, I find it a very user-friendly, let's say, watcher-friendly documentary, so you can get acquainted with this concept. And yeah, that's about it, man.
I mean, this is not the type of content that you're going to find that most people are talking about right now, but is critical to everyone's success. The more you understand about it and the more you apply it, the more successful you're going to be with it. So most people, right, who are doing hangouts, they're just going to tell you sort of like cold, mechanical, strategic things like, oh, use this traffic source or use this and that. But if you really harness the power of quantum physics, quantum mechanics, energy, intention, and mindset, which is kind of a running theme that we're going to be always talking about, well, everything else will just seem to be easy and to fall into place. I mean, that's just how it goes. Because if you don't know why you're doing something or you don't know how something works, well, the steps are kind of irrelevant, right? So let's jump into this. Quantum physics. Knowing what you and the world are made of is the first key to knowing how to make it your way. You may be wondering what quantum physics has to do with wealth and happiness. Well, you had better believe that it has everything to do with it. How can you build a house if you do not know what a house is made of and how it is constructed? Quantum physics begins to explain how everything in your world comes to be. You are in direct manipulation of your entire physical world, but you may not. And your lack of awareness of this fact, how the physical matter comes about, and your role in it, makes your life appear to you as an occurrence that is out of your control. It may appear to you as if you are the victim of circumstances, while all along you are the cause of those circumstances, including your experiencing of wealth or lack of it. Quantum physics is the first step in an amazing awakening that you are about to undergo. Not only will you understand the very construction of all that you see around you, you will also understand exactly how your belief and thinking creates matter, how you reap what you sow, how even before you ask, it has been given unto you, and so on. It is scientifically catching up with spirituality and common sense, explaining it. Think about it. When someone tells you that anything is possible, if only you believe, aren't you more likely to believe that when you know how, step by step, and scientifically? Your beliefs shift the universe and produces what you believe in. One of the benefits of understanding the very basics of quantum physics, and the basics is all you need to understand, is that you finally see clearly how powerful concepts such as faith and right thinking work, among other things. This seeing and understanding, this knowing, enables you to have full confidence, eliminate doubt, create your reality consciously, powerfully, and beautifully. In many ways, become more powerful. Quantum physics also shows you how we are all connected, how we are all one being that perpetuates an illusion of separate individual beings. It also gives you a glimpse into how spirits and matter interact and connect, how mind and matter do so as well, how creation actually happens, and how we are co-creations with God. By the end of this chapter, and the next 4 chapters, you will be amazed at how much power you have, how amazing this universe is, and how easily it is to create any outcome you choose. But first, what is quantum physics? Quantum physics is the study of the building blocks of the universe. For example, your body is made up of cells. These cells are, in turn, made up of molecules, which are made up of atoms, which are, in turn, made up of subatomic particles such as electrons. This is the world of quantum physics. Everything is made up of large groups, subatomic particles. Your body, a tree, thoughts, a vehicle, a planet, light, and everything else are concentrations of energy. All of them are large collections of pretty much the same types of subatomic particles. The only difference is the way that these particles are grouped together into ever larger building blocks. Knowing how they work is key to knowing how to recreate yourself and your world around you. To speak correctly, a subatomic particle is not really a particle in the way that a grain of sand is a particle. While atomic and larger particles are objects or things, subatomic particles are not objects as such. They are probabilities of existence. At the same time, multiple existences. They are also wave-like and particle-like at the same time. You will soon see what all this means by the end of this chapter. Quantum physics asks the question, what are these subatomic particles and how do they act? Well, the subatomic particles are energy packets, sometimes called quanta. Everything in the universe is made of energy, and these energy packets behave in the most amazing way. They are at our command. The reason they would arrange themselves into a luxury boat, for example, is our individual and collective thoughts. Do you now start to see the link between wealth and quantum physics? Up until this point, you may have been designing your world haphazardly and unconsciously. Now, you will awaken and do it deliberately and consciously with direction. Let our journey into the quantum field begin. What is your body made of? Tissues? Organs? What are tissues and organs made of? Cells. What are cells made of? Molecules. What are molecules made of? Atoms. What are atoms made of? Subatomic particles. What are subatomic particles made of? Energy? No. They are not made of energy. They are energy. You are one big chunk of energy, and so is everything else. Spirit and mind put together. This energy into a physical shape that you are used to seeing. Quantum physics tells us that this is the act of observing an object that causes it to be there, where and how we observe it. Energy is the subatomic particles that in turn make up atoms and finally matter. This energy exists as waves spread out over space and time. Only when you exercise observation do these waves become particles localized at a space-time event, a particle at a particular time and place. As soon as you withdraw your observation, they become wave again. So, as you see, your observation, your attention to something, and your intention literally creates the thing as a time-space event. This is scientific. In other chapters, we shall see how to focus, concentrate, and guard your attention and intention and your thoughts to create your reality. Exactly. No solid object is solid. It is made up of rapidly flashing packets of energy. Billions and trillions of packets of energy. They flash in and flash out of that space where the object is. They do not just stay there. So why does a human body or a car look like they are a solid, continuous object when we now know that this is actually rapidly flashing fields of energy? Think of a TV image. When you watch a movie, you see a person walk across a screen smoothly, yet in reality, it is just a film reel with 24 slightly different frames a second, so your eyes do not detect the gaps between the frames. Even each of these frames is a composition of billions of light photons flashing at the speed of light. That is what your world is. A rapid flash that causes an illusion of being solid and continuous. Once you understand what your world is really, truly, you start to understand its true behavior and nature. You then change your view of it. And with your changed perception, you change your creation of it. This is the first step to wealth. All right, I'll stop there. Let's discuss.
All right, coming back on camp. Well, so that could be pretty mind-blowing for some of you. I know it was when I first came across the concept of quantum mechanics. It was about 3 years ago. I watched a documentary which I mentioned previously, What the Bleep Do We Know? My father actually gave me that documentary, and it did blow my mind. I didn't get the full understanding of it the first time I watched it, probably about the fifth time I watched it. However, up until 5 months ago, I didn't know it could actually create wealth for me. I didn't know I could control it, and so the topics discussed there. Yeah, we are all made of energy, and if you don't already know that, I suggest you get educated on it, because once you do, you realize your brain transmits frequencies, right? It transmits frequencies, and everything around it, the whole universe is open to receiving it, and what you want is looking for you, always. This is something I learned on an audio series. Your wish is your command. And so whatever you're putting out there, whether it's unconsciously or consciously, you are receiving it. So whatever spot you are in right now in your life, whatever's around you, the people, the material things, your situation, you have been creating all your life. So don't tell me you're a victim of your life. Don't have that mindset. You want to be in a positive flow constantly, every day by day, really emitting your wishes, your dreams, solidifying that, being around the people. And if you're already not, make the decision to get around the right people, and soon you'll see that more situations, circumstances, whether that be people, whether that be money, something in the bank account some way, or these opportunities mysteriously and magically arise, that are going to work in your favor for whatever you want. That's kind of an opening topic for the discussion right now. Rob, any thoughts for it?
Man, you couldn't have said it better myself, my friend. And that is a great movie. What the bleep do we know? It's all about quantum physics and how it affects our everyday lives. Is Corey still there?
Yeah, I'm still
I think
here.
Oh, okay, cool. What spoke to you about what I just read? What jumped out at you? What kind of hit you?
What hit me is more so some of what I already knew, which is how we are all connected. And Dan, great job on sharing that, and I definitely agree with you on what you said. And as far as what the title of this hangout is called, we could definitely tie it into Einstein's credibility, tying into general relativity, which he actually spent the last of his years combining the opposing realms of relativity theory and quantum mechanics into a single theory of everything. He wanted to pretty much simplify everything, because ironically, Albert Einstein had a serious theoretical issue with quantum mechanics and tried for many years to disprove it, or to modify it at least. And that's definitely amazing, because I'm sure he was on to something. If you ever studied some of Albert Einstein's work, which I'm sure most of us have. But yeah, going back to what quantum physics is, it's it ties into what we all are. We're all contained matter, and more so, um, we contain energy. Each and every one of us, down like you broke it down yourself, past the subatomic particles. We are all energy. We are all interconnected. Everything, every person, every everything on this planet is all energy. We are all connected, and if you want something, you need a better understanding of what that is. If you want money, if you want the car, if you want whatever it is, you have to understand what that is that holds it together, that creates that matter, that creates the energy. You have to get on the same frequency level as Dan had mentioned. The tap into to what that is, or tap in. Say you want to close a sale, you got to get it on that frequency level that person is on. You got to That's how you create a connection right there to begin with, and that ties into a bunch of stuff. Just sensing other people's energy. If you're in a room and someone comes in and they're storming, they're pissed off, they had a horrible day, you don't even have to look up. You could feel that energy. You could feel those vibes before they even come in. And the same thing goes with positivity. You could share that light, share that feeling, share that love, and it's just amazing how we are all connected, how we are all one, as you had shared. It's amazing.
That's funny that you mentioned that, because I think in the chapter coming up, still in the realm of quantum physics, it actually gives an example that's similar to that, right? So it talks about two people who are in a room, and it's saying that you can use this knowledge to change that energy. But like, let's say you have two people, and you can affect people's moods without words. So you have two people, and one person is kind of like sad, and the other person is happy, and he starts telling jokes and being funny, and then all of a sudden the energy shifts, and it becomes positive, because that one person's happy energy affects the other person, and it raises up. It's a great example that they give.
Yeah, I'd like to comment on this. I mean, a couple of years ago, this is a term for the worse, and I'm saying this now. If there's anyone out there who has been through it or is going through it at the moment, a couple of years ago, I went into huge depression, and I don't know how I got in there. It just happened like that. And I went so far deep that I didn't know what was up, what was down, what was around me, and I was stuck. I was stuck in this mental block, and it wasn't that I was negative or nasty or that I was doing this on purpose. I just was. I don't know where I was. I felt like the whole world was against me. Therefore, I just had this. I was giving out this energy of hurt, of anger, of I don't know what. So people could sense that. I remember, because I was still observant whilst in this state, and I was very quiet. I went into a period of time where I was mute. I didn't talk because I was afraid of what was coming out of me. I didn't know what was inside of me. I didn't know how to get out. I didn't know whether I could talk to people about this. I didn't know how to solve it. However, I realized just by thinking something, I was in it so powerfully, and in the wrong way. Right now I'm working towards going to the opposite end of the spectrum, which is where I'm thinking something so powerfully and it happens, and of course it's great things because I'm so happy now. But back then, I wasn't. I was in this place, in this dark place, that I would think something, and there would be someone maybe 10 feet away, 20 feet away, whatever it was, and it was like they would turn around, or they would know something was wrong. They could smell it, they could sense it, And that's just an example. And just a quick shout: if anyone is in that right now, listening to this, send me a message. I'll add my Facebook link below because I have come across people since then. I believe it's since then I've helped a lot of people come out of that because I experienced it. I can detect it off someone just by looking at them. I've seen it in the last 2 weeks with some people as well. And just send me a message because I will help you. Like, no commitments whatsoever. I'll commit to helping you because it's a bad place to be in. It's the wrong side of the spectrum, and you want to get out of that.
Oh yeah, I struggled myself with anxiety and depression for a while, which I believe I shared on yesterday's hangout. But I also have this book by Melissa Tiers that it's all about how to deal with anxiety, and it's like, actually I'm going to be doing a series of videos on that, and I'll be sharing that in this group on how, like, there's so many different really cool strategies on how to get rid of anxiety, from like choosing a focal point and using your peripheral vision to focus on that instead of anxiety, or you have a ball, right, and you throw it from hand to hand across the line or across your midsection. That somehow works by using both hemispheres of the brain to somehow get blood to both parts of the brain. Also, what you were talking about reminded me of a story that I heard from. Are you familiar with Abraham Hicks, Esther and Jerry Hicks?
I have come across the names over the Charlotte event. However, I've not gone deep.
Yeah, same here.
Well, pretty much there's this woman named Esther Hicks who maybe like 20 years ago had started kind of like channeling a collective consciousness of how would I say this, non-physical beings, just sort of like, you know how people like channel things from other places. So it was like kind of, she channels this entity or whatever collective consciousness called that is called Abraham. And they share lots and lots of wisdom, and they were sharing a story that Esther was in a car, and she's been doing spiritual work for like 20 years, and you know, even the people who are very seasoned, right, in the law of attraction, in quantum physics, and everything, even people, they're still human, right? So they're still susceptible to the same things that all of us go through. You know, sometimes they'll get down, sometimes they'll get sad, maybe even depressed, but they bounce back a lot quicker because they have that knowledge and they have those years of experience behind them. So, you know, no one's perfect. But so she recognized that she was not in the greatest mood for some reason, and she noticed herself thinking, she was driving in a car and someone passed her, and these thoughts came up that normally she wouldn't think about because she's a very spiritually aligned person. And she was like, oh man, if that person was going a little slower, a little faster, whatever, they would have hit us or something. And so she had this thought of, oh, they would have hit us. So it only takes 17 seconds to begin to attract something. It doesn't matter if you deem it good, right, wrong, good, bad, or anything like that. It only takes 17 seconds to begin the manifestation process into physical reality. So she had that thought, even though she's had years of experience in spiritual training. So she parked her car, went into this shop to buy something, and come out, and she was driving, I don't know what kind of, like an Escalade, a really expensive Escalade. And this girl, it was raining out, and this girl was driving, I think it was not a Camaro, Dodge, no, not that, a Ford Mustang, right? Like a really heavy car. She's an 18-year-old girl, spun out of control, hit her car that was parked. And even though she had all this spiritual experience, she got really angry and upset. And the father of the teenage girl started coming and was yelling at the girl, and this, you know, she had a lot of like hurt feelings about it. And then she went home. Wait, I think I lost the point of the story. I think I lost my train of thought. But hold on. You know, my thought was completely derailed.
That's all right. And I think you're trying to tie into like the way she was thinking about everything.
Oh yeah, it kind of caused it, but then like she was thinking about it again, and she realized that everything has had its own place.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Right. Powerful.
I'd have to send you her talking about it because I think she tells a better story than I am right now.
So do you wanna explain a little more about this Abraham? Because I have heard that before, but I
Yeah,
haven't really looked at it.
he's like it's like a non-physical collection of entities, I guess. I don't really know how to explain it, but she channels it. She kind of like relaxes her body and lets this group of beings communicate through her.
Oh wow.
Okay. Wow. Awesome. All right. And so how? I mean, shit. I'm gonna look that up. All right. So what has it done for her so far? Like, what does she do through it? What do they communicate through her at the moment?
Just like really simple things that everyone kind of knows but has forgotten. Like they talk about just love, and they talk about just things that people just kind of need to hear right now. It's very like basic things, you know.
Yeah. No, okay, understood. I mean, that's the thing though. So many people have forgotten all these, let's say, basic building blocks of our universe. Because, well, just to add in and tie in frequency, I mean, it's been found through several tests and everything. You can actually test frequency. Science has now proven that this is real. So if you're thinking of maybe challenging that, don't just go look it up. It's been proven now by science. But that love is one of the most powerful frequencies in this universe. That the universe is love. And so many people go, you hippie. I mean, like, what's this kid talking about love? Well, it's true. When you live by a principle of love and of being true and truth as well, and then becoming empowered and power is not a bad thing. A lot of people think power is a bad thing. It's force. You should read Dr. David Hawkins' book, Power versus Force. Force is what creates all the evil, and what is the evil currently in this world, what Christian people call the devil right now, and the ego. But if you start to emit the frequency of love and the frequency of truth, you will start to attract magical things in your life. I know I started to do that when I was 18 to get out of this. I came across this book. I came across the philosopher Alan Watts as well, and this Dr. David Hawkins, and I was absolutely blown away. I've guided myself through those three principles now: love, truth, and power, since the age of 18, 19. And sometimes I go off the road, but as soon as I come back on, just magical things happen in my life, and I start to attract wonderful situations. So that's something to go by. Anything else to touch on actual quantum physics?
I kind of want to touch base off of what you just said right there. I totally agree with you. Like Justin Varengia said himself, love is universal. And I actually, that's funny because I shared with you one of my favorite quotes today on Facebook because you were asking everyone's favorite quotes, and the one that I shared is when the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world will know peace by Jimi Hendrix, and I totally agree. If you ever read articles or seen documentaries about people who've had um, ND, NDs, near-death experiences, they've gone and that's all that they feel. And if they were to communicate with a being outside of this realm, they would just say, go back, you have a mission to complete, and that mission has to tie with just loving everybody that you can. But to tie into more of the quantum physics, I actually just came across this right now. I thought it was quite interesting. Is this quantum comes from the Latin meaning how much, and to kind of tie into what we already discussed, it refers to the discrete units of matter and energy that are predicted by and observed in quantum physics, even space and time, which appear to be extremely continuous, have smallest possible values. And quantum physics actually provides an argument against the philosophy called materialism. And to tie that into the love hate thing, I'm a very spiritual person myself, I must admit, and um, there's a point in time that you know that I dislike materialistic things, you know, whether it tied into the seven deadly sins. Maybe I was envious, you know, of someone riding by in a fancy car, or whatever it may have been. You know, it was there's a point in time where I did not care for those materialistic things, you know, because I feel like they only bring you, you know, instant gratification, just happiness for temporarily. It never completely satisfies a person. And it wasn't until, you know, my perception changed, especially after this event, and now tying into quantum physics, and then realizing how, you know, there's more to everything than just matter. You know, there's this energy that we were talking about, this energy that is in all of us, and you get out, you get in return from the universe what you put out. Kind of like what Rob was saying with that girl. You know, she was angry, she, you know, she was putting that out, and in return, you know, she, I don't know the exact story, but it seemed like she kind of attracted it in a way. So, you know, if you keep are being envious, or disliking this and that, like, no, I don't like these cars, I don't like these clothes, or whatever, but deep down inside you want it. I mean, you're never gonna get that. You just gotta stay positive. You gotta stay loving one another, and just be appreciative and
Yeah.
grateful for what you have.
Exactly. Hey guys, I found the YouTube video, so I'm gonna play it. Let me know if you guys could hear it.
Will do.
It says, "No accident is accidental." Source energy translated by Esther Hicks. Can you hear it?
No, I'm not hearing it. There's a way to share YouTube videos on the side here.
Yeah,
I don't know
you can
exactly
do
how.
you can
It's on
do
the side button.
a screen share, my friend. It's
Oh
on
yeah, you can do
the
screen share.
Okay.
it's on the left, and it's the second one down, I think.
Oh, screen share.
Yeah, you can actually add apps too, but I don't know if the viewers would be able to see it. Still working
Uh,
out this Google Hangout stuff here.
we're working on it daily, daily.
Hey,
I love this.
that's all that matters.
All right.
All right, let me know if you
Yeah.
could hear it.
Whoa, there's like a vortex of screens. There we go. That is nice.
Can you hear it?
No, I can't hear the audio, man. I don't know how you would.
Turn on for every hour.
Wait, there it is. There it is. All right.
I want you to be aware of it, because when you are consciously aware that there is a vibrational attitude or being.
Can you hear that?
Yeah, keep it playing. Keep it playing. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, keep it playing. It's good. Mute mics.
You have
What about
learned,
you, Rob?
then you can start feeling your way into emotional and vibrational alignment with it. For example, so Esther and her sister's husband had a lovely meal in Del Mar, and then decided to stop at the grocery store for some water and milk. And while they were in the grocery store, an 18-year-old lovely little girl in her new-to-her Mustang was driving on a wet street. Her car got away from her. It was impossible to even imagine how she got up so much speed in such a short period of time. And she buried the nose of her little Mustang in the nose of Esther's Cadillac Escalade. Buried it in the nose of Esther's car and the Jaguar that was sitting next to it. She couldn't have picked two better cars to bury her nose in. And when Esther saw it, the cars were stuck together. The tow trucks had to pull them apart. Esther was not happy. Her exact words were, "You have got to be kidding me." They were there for quite a while, exchanging information. And Esther was thinking to herself, how could someone be so irresponsible as to let their car get away from them and make such a mess of my beautiful car for no reason? This was just unnecessary. And her father was there, and he was very, very mad at her. And Esther liked that. Because Esther was very, very mad at her too. No reason for this. And then as things unfolded and the cars were apart, and Esther realized that her car was drivable. In fact, everything worked. The headlights worked. She could not have picked a better spot. Even the signals worked. The car drove normally. It can be repaired. And so as Esther sort of settled down from it, she began recognizing the discord that she had caused herself by her knee-jerk response to a situation and her subsequent departure from who she really is. Now, we have to say to you that that wavered quite a bit. As she was mad, and then not mad, and then mad, and then not mad. And every time she thought about what this now meant, she got mad. So she found that she could choose whether to be mad or not mad, but mad seemed more appropriate under the conditions. It just did. It just did, especially when she looked at her car, especially when others looked at her car, and she knew they were thinking that she did it, that she did it, that she did it. Esther wanted to make a sign. I did not do this. I did not do this. But in her heart, she knew she had done it. That was the thing that made her, once again, curse law of attraction. So she began sort of reporting to those who were around her. I'm not as bothered by the paint and metal that has to be reconfigured as I am about my point of attraction. I guess I've just been feeling so sorry for myself and feeling vulnerable, and so this is what has come of this. But that thought felt bogus and awful. But it also somehow had little resonance. In other words, things like that shouldn't happen to people who are deliberate creators, and yet there it was, a big hole in the front of her car. And so, as they were pulling the cars apart, her brother-in-law had said, you know, Esther, I don't think you're going to have too much trouble with this car. This car is a tank. And when they pulled the cars apart, everything seemed fine. They drove away. She drove it here. You can see it if you'd like. Just don't take pictures and put them on the internet. She doesn't care. And so then, she was visiting with us about it, wanting to know what her point of attraction, what does this mean about my point of attraction? And we explained to her that we are not going to make her the exception in the universe. You are not the exception in the universe. Of course, everything that happens to you is part of your attraction. And then she recalled that at the intersection, as they turned in to the grocery store just before, a car had run a red light right in front of them, and the other cars had honked. And Esther had commented, glad they didn't collide because we would have been innocently involved in their wreck. Those had been her words right before this. So now she's starting to see some of the correlation between how things come together. And then we said to her, Esther, your Cadillac is a tank, and you are a tank too. And Abraham Hicks Publications is a tank. In other words, of course there are cosmetic things that you're working on all the time. Of course there are things that you're molding into place all the time. But you are strong and you are stable, and this is analogous to the stability of that which you are. So she said, I'm going to drive that car around with a big hole in it for a while until they can fix it. What we're getting at here is you can take every situation in the world and you can look at it through your physical eyes, which are often leaning more in the direction of vulnerability, or through your non-physical eyes, who are always looking for your strength. The source within you knows who you are, knows the stability of your being, and never sees anything that you're living in the attitude of vulnerability to you, because the source within you knows the backup systems you've got going on. Do you understand what we're getting at? As you are determined to feel your power rather than your weaknesses, your strengths rather than your weaknesses, your clarity rather than your confusion, your sureness rather than your unsteadiness, as you begin to get glimpses and you begin to deliberately want to practice the vibration of that well-being, what begins to happen to you, of course, you're going to rendezvous with all kinds of things. You're out here in the world, and there is nothing that comes to you that does not come on the powerful well-defined, always accurate, always fair basis of law of attraction. Nothing ever comes to you that isn't about that. But we want you to know, you have the choice in every moment to define how you want to feel. And if your desire to feel good is strong enough, you will always find a way to come back into your power. So now the man from State Farm is looking at the front of Esther's car, and Esther is explaining to him how it happened, really wanting him to know she just didn't bump it up on something. He actually didn't care how it happened. He was just there to assess what had happened and to make a determination about it. But Esther's explaining it to him. And he said, I worked for Ford. I had a couple of those Mustangs. They are really squirrely. The back end of those fishtails, they get away from you. They're really, really hard on wet pavement. And it was raining that day. And then Esther went to her hairdresser and is explaining to her hairdresser, in case she happens to see the car in the parking lot. And her hairdresser said, I had 2 Mustangs. They are really difficult on wet roads. There's something about the back end of those that makes them really hard to control. And suddenly, Esther's feeling relief because she'd been holding that one little nugget of blame to that little 18-year-old girl who the last time she saw her was in the parking lot crying until her eyelashes were coming off, wanting Esther to know that she didn't mean to do it, she didn't mean to do it, she didn't mean to do it, she didn't mean to do it. So Esther called her father and said, I just want you to know that 2 people today told me exactly the same thing, and I think we should all let your little girl off the hook on this. He said, what do you have to say? And Esther said, those cars are hard to manage on the wet roads. We were all too hard on her. And Esther could feel the relief coming over him. And she knows that there was soon to be relief coming over this little girl. Because everything that happens is a co-creation. And when you decide that you're going to blame the one who seemed at most fault, instead of take responsibility for the part you play, the reason you feel so awful is not because you're mad at the little girl. It's because you're all upside down about how things are being created in your reality. You are running around this planet as cooperative components to one another, not to do bad things to each other and not to teach other lessons, but to sift through the data to put things in your vortex to which your inner being is already aligned so that you can experience the joy of alignment. So then Esther began noticing what fun it was. She met a whole host of new people on the process of getting this into alignment, and there's still more to come. More lovely people interacting on different levels. Isn't that what life is all about? And so, of course, you don't want someone to bury their Mustang in the front of your vehicle. That's not our message here at all. But we are acknowledging that there are plenty of things that you don't want that are bumping into you. Plenty of things that you don't want that are bumping into you. And your reaction to the bump, it's normal when you first get bumped to have a knee-jerk reaction. Maybe if you don't really understand who you are. But in time, the woman who drove the Jaguar was standing in a more stable place than Esther in terms of her life. Her husband came to assess it, and they were both smiling in the parking lot. And Esther said to both of them, stop smiling. You are far too happy. This is what I teach, but it is not what I live. You are smiling too much here. And of course she didn't mean it, but isn't it annoying to see someone living the exact thing that you're living and feeling so differently about it, you see? And what we're wanting you to understand is that the source within you, that your inner being, that who you really are, that is converging with you out here on the leading edge about what you're living, that source within you has a different opinion often than you do if you feel anything less than wonderful. The source within you is always acknowledging the value in the rendezvous. The source within you is always looking for the positive aspects and the benefit of. And when you make one small decision, and it really is a smaller decision than any of you realize, When you make the small decision that you are going to feel good no matter what, that today, no matter what you are doing or where you are going or who you are doing it with, that you're going to look for reasons to feel good, you begin to tune yourself to the vibration of the source within you, and then that becomes your dominant point of attraction. Instead of some conversation, you see, everything that happens has some law of attraction vibrational hook. It was not accidental that occurred right after Esther had fanned the flames of people doing weird things in traffic that made her a vulnerable target. It's not an odd thing. It was not a strange coincidence that as Esther came into the parking lot, she picked that place to park. None of this is accidental. Nothing is accidental. Everything is vibrationally aligned. And the composite of vibrations that you hold are all part of it. So was this an awful thing that happened? Certainly not. Are there awful things that happen? No, not really. This is the thing that we want you to understand. From your broader point of view, everything fits into vibrational alignment with the well-being that you want and deserve. And as you begin looking for evidence of that, you begin moving more of those moments so that it's peak, 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 peak. It was a peak moment for Esther when she called that father and explained to him her newfound perspective and expressed through the tone in her voice and through the conversation that she had her genuine love and appreciation, her genuine affection and desire for a well-being for the young girl who just 2 days before had caused her something entirely different than that, or at least that was the credit that Esther was giving to her. When you come back into alignment, it's because you have aligned with your inner being. When you feel good, it's because you've aligned with who you are. When you feel bad, it is because you are not aligning with who you are. And whoever is running into the front of your car is irrelevant to the equation, really, 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 really.
Yo, all right, I'm going to stop it there. I'm going to post this link. I don't know if you guys were paying attention, but I was, and I was taking notes. And I love Abraham Hicks, and I love the work that they do. Well, I'm going to take this off of this thing so we can get out of the vortex.
That was awesome.
That was so powerful.
Seriously,
wow.
and they have a whole book called like Getting into the Vortex, and that's and they call it like rocket. Yeah. Dude, I got really inspired. I took some good notes, and it gave me a good idea of a different direction that we can take the Traveling Mastermind with this and our daily hangouts. Like, maybe we'll read a little bit, but we can like have a whole training dedicated to a video that like lines up with the topic. Like, if you guys have a video, we can just watch it in the same fashion and then just discuss it. Like, dude, this is a really deep, powerful information. And we can just go around and like, okay, like what life experience have I had that can relate to that? Because dude, it's just like.
One sec. Sorry to stop your flow, mate, but just come out of the share screen because it's reverbing here.
All right, hold on. Thanks. How do I stop it though?
It's done. Looks done. Yeah.
Wait.
You good? You good? No. You good, bro?
You're good.
No, but it's still. I still see it on mine.
It's off there. No, there we go. You're good.
Are you sure? Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, dude. I mean, like, I love everything they've ever done, and again, I think it would be awesome for us to share videos like this from time to time. If especially pertaining to quantum physics, we just show a video clip and just discuss it and the stories that we can relate to it from our lives. So a couple things that I wrote down were that we're all co-creators. Things will bump into you. It's always acknowledging the value in the rendezvous. Feel good no matter what. Look for reasons to feel good. And vibrationally aligned. No awful things happen. So it's just kind of like looking at life from a different pair of eyes, like a different perspective. And I've definitely felt like that when I was like kind of off my game, and I kind of took a step back and I saw that, wow, maybe I did create this through my low vibrations. And it's those kind of experiences that snaps you back and says, wow, I am consciously creating, or maybe sometimes unconsciously creating everything that has happened in my life. And It's powerful when you actually realize that. What were
Yeah,
your thoughts on that?
exactly. I mean, it's the energy. The energy you transmit, you put out there, the energy you get back every single time. And it is true. We're all co-creators. We're all, and then this is just to blow it up a bit wider here. This is what amazes me about the current state of the world today. You know, the state of the environment, the state of society, the state of how the economy, how people are feeling at the moment. Two things. How did we get there is not important. The thing is, what are we doing about it currently to change it? And just, yeah, I'll add in a third because I like the number three. We are all responsible for it. There is no blame here to the government. There's no blame to your next door neighbor. There's not even a blame within yourself. You just got to realize, take that step back like we each do in our personal lives to realize this and realize that we can really together um, really transmitting through that collective consciousness, and whether that's Abraham, I'll have to get more familiar with this, but just all together, imagine if all together we were working on that, transmitting this beautiful, positive energy, and realizing that if we all are educated on that, what kind of world would we be living in right now? And more excitingly, what world can we all start to create from now on? And that's why Gandhi's quote really ties in. Be the change you wish to see, and just to follow through on that, that change will come once you change yourself. Your world will begin to change for the better if you put out positive energy, if you start to be a conscious creator of your life, and then together with the other people that you will meet, you know, like right now, us in the traveling mastermind, everyone we met in Charlotte, and the people we are yet to meet. And once those numbers grow and grow and grow, I am excited for the future. If this happens in my lifetime, this is something I'd love to happen in my lifetime. That there's enough people in this world that we can really change the actual planet on a massive scale, the actual life that this world is in right now.
Yeah, man. Corey, so what did you take away from the video that we just watched?
That was amazing. That's a video that I'm going to have to replay and multiple times just to learn something new every time I listen. I definitely believe that coincidences don't happen. You know, you always hear people say that everything happens for a reason. I've heard something a long time ago that I prefer better, which is we are we are supposed to be at this exact moment. And I'm definitely a firm believer that you do attract whatever it is, whatever you get out the universe, you attract it. And I told some of you guys at this event that just the event, I knew I was supposed to be there. It almost felt like deja vu, like I was there before, I dreamt about it, but at the same time I was living out this at the exact same time. It was weird, but I just knew that I was supposed to be there. And probably people knew your mic. I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Is that a vacuum cleaner?
I don't know what that was.
It's a blender. It's a blender. I'll mute myself.
I think it's a universe. I think it was the black hole sucking us in.
Yeah, it's the vortex. Go
yeah, exactly. No, but just these coincidences. Well, see, I don't even want to say coincidence. Just the way the universe works. It's amazing. I'll share with you another story, as I shared on the previous video, is that I'm from Pennsylvania, and to get to this event, I actually rented a vehicle. The vehicle had Ohio plates on it, and I drove 8.5 hours all the way down to North Carolina for this event. And while we were at this event, you know, all of us just connected for some reason. That just like the story we just shared with you with the accident, you know, we just added more people. We crossed more paths with these energies along the way, and this is how the mastermind started. And after the one day we went to the mall, and we got out the mall, and a buddy of ours, he might be on the future hangout, Jared James Patterson, he had noticed that my license plate on the vehicle, you know, began with the first three letters of Rob's last name, which is Gegner. And it was like Gag. Yeah, what are the chances of that? It's like a for sure sign. Like the universe, like, yeah, you're supposed to be here right now. That's it. Period. You know.
That's it, period. And I took a picture with that. That was so hilarious. GEG.
Yeah.
And I had a burrito
Yeah.
in my hand because we just come to the burrito place, and I put the burrito in front of the last numbers and letters. It was just me and the GEG in that picture. It was
Because that's the only letters that was on the license plate too. Is just gag. That was what are the chances, you know? That's just the way the mysteries of the universe. So
exactly.
what are your thoughts? I mean, I'm just a loss for words at some of these things. Just how things play out in the universe. It's truly phenomenal.
I think I'll head it back to Dan. Maybe he can get more specific about certain things from the videos that he took away from. But something just came to me from what something that Justin Varengia said in one of the first Inner Circle audios that I listened to. Actually, it was a Live Empower Hour call, and it was him and Dave Wood, and it's just about noticing the miracles that happen, noticing the synchronicities, because they're happening all around you, like they're happening right now. But we're just not focused on them, and where your attention goes, where energy flows, where your attention goes, energy flows, right? So whatever you pay attention to is real, and the next chapter that you're gonna read about this. We're gonna be reading about this tomorrow. Probably we're gonna get into it. Literally, if you stop observing something, it will cease to exist. If the collective masses of people stop looking at the moon, it won't be there anymore. It will just exist as a probability, as a quantum probability. So attention and observation is everything. So if you want to experience magic on a daily basis, and here's the homework assignment. Maybe we should make these hangouts more actionable, like give people homework assignments for the people who are really serious about being a part of this traveling mastermind. And the homework assignment should be, get a journal, any journal. I've got a college-ruled black and white composition notebook, and use that just to write down all the coincidences, all like the happy accidents, like on a day-to-day basis. Just the things that you notice, the little things that you start paying attention to that make you laugh or make you smile. And the more of these like secrets in plain sight that you pay attention to, the more frequently you're going to be experiencing them. It may not seem like anything miraculous or magical happens, but make it a point to pay attention to the magical moments in your life. And it may take a day, it may take a week, it may take a couple hours for you to completely start engrossing yourself in these magical moments until it becomes routine, because it does take some time to create new habits and to focus your attention. But just like the transderivational search in your brain and the reticulating activating system in your brain, that pays attention to things, like when, I'm sure you've heard this talked about before, but if like me, I want to buy a yellow Mazda Miata, a convertible, and once I made that decision, guess what I kept seeing more of? Yellow Mazda Miatas, yellow convertibles everywhere, and that's not a coincidence. It's a scientific fact of what goes on in your brain, because it's not like they just kind of showed up and appeared from nowhere. They've always been there, but now your focus and your attention has shifted to paying attention. You've trained your brain. You've literally trained your brain to start paying attention to all of the yellow convertibles that are already there. And you can do the same thing with magical moments. So we'll see how many of you done this, and I would like you to comment on the, if you're live right now, or if you're watching the recording, I want you to go to www.facebook.com/thetravelingmastermind, and I want you to commit to doing this homework assignment, if at least for a week, for a full week, right? And I'm going to do it along with you guys. So I want you to say that I have my notebook. I'm committing to paying attention to magical moments of my life for a week, and every day that goes on, we can share the things that we write down in our notebooks. It'd be a fun assignment for everyone to do together. What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely, love it. I've written it down right here. It's all about opening up your vision, your perception of the world around you. We sometimes don't realize all the things that are going on. I always use the example of the car. It's like I use the example of like, when a woman's pregnant, she often comes into contact with either people with babies or a lot of other pregnant people and stuff like that, and that's a natural form of doing it because you're going through extreme changes in your life. It smells like my dog just farted. So that's bad. Whew, Jesus. So yeah, absolutely. I've been wanting to do a journal. I've never thought about it to do it whilst I'm awake on my day to day, but to do it for lucid dreaming. I used to be able to lucid dream so much. So now that power's diminished. I'm going to get it back up.
Yeah.
It's the same. It's the same concept. As soon as you wake up, write down your dream. Write down your dream, and then keep training that. The more you train something, the more you are building a neuro connection in your brain, and a neuro pathway, as Rob mentioned before. And so it just becomes more and more physical. You can actually physically create neural pathways in your brain. Like, wow. That's a concept that blows my mind. I learned that on, shit. Your wish is your command, that's the one. And, yeah, and so I wanted to ask you guys something. When you're putting out your vision, your intention, your goals, are you specific or are you more general, and do you put a time limit?
That is an amazing question, and I know why you're asking that, because the first time that I went through your wish is your command, I was a little bit confused and I had that same question, and now I don't know if I've ever answered it. I just go with how I feel. But most people have trained us to think, goal setting, intention setting, all the big top success people, they're like, you want to be very, very specific. I want a yellow 2014 Mazda Miata with, video console with GPS and whatever type of rims. I don't know much about cars. I want this house in this location by this time next year with a marble statue of Mickey Mouse or whatever it is, like, specifically. And you're supposed to read that over and over again and get that into your subconscious and listen to it all the time, and it's supposed to manifest. But what this guy Kevin Trudeau is talking about is you want to be more general, because it allows it, because obviously nothing's going to manifest exactly in the way that you're thinking. Nothing really shows up always the way that you So he's talking about in more general terms to with no specific time date in mind. I mean, you can elaborate more on that, Dan, because you've gone through that material.
Yeah, I mean,
that material.
it says definitely, Corey. I'll post it in the link below this video. But Your Wish is Your Command is a 12-hour video series. I don't want to go too much into detail of exactly what it is, in case it's information that should have never really been released, or was hindered from being released by secret societies like the Illuminati, like the Freemasons, like Skull and Bones that George Bush Jr. was a part of, for example, like royalty is a part of still. And it's all the concept of the law of attraction. However, what you realize is that a lot of the principles and a lot of the knowledge has been diluted through all these books. It's popularized by The Secret. Absolutely, The Secret's a wonderful book. However, it's nowhere near as mind-blowing as the original source of the information that's coming from the mouth of an ex-3033 Freemason. So, what he says, he also created the Global Information Network. I have to look into that more. What he says is to be non-specific. It works better. You can be specific, but it works better and comes in faster if you are more general with it. Instead of saying, I want a car, let's say a BMW that is blue, has cream color interior, aluminium finishing or whatever, titanium, whatever it is. if you're that specific, and then you set a time limit, you set, okay, I want it in a month, on this date, that date, and that date, because I notice a lot of people, even within our organization, our business, that they say to write a specific date. I've done that myself, and it puts a hell of a lot of pressure. It puts a hell of a lot of pressure, a lot of expectation, and then doubt creeps in, which is the reason why they suggest being more general. So instead of that, you want to say, I want a car, or I need a car. You know, you convert it from a want to a need. You get that burning desire, that belief behind it, and you start to manifest that with no doubt and no pressure from setting a time. And it will come to you. It will come to you, maybe not in the way you expected, but it will come to you. Opportunities will arise. It will come to you. I have experienced this. I am experiencing this. And it's just funny how it works. I have to study this deeper. I've only been through it once, and I'm going through it again now because it's extremely powerful knowledge. Extremely powerful knowledge. I suggest you check that out. It's on YouTube. I will post the link down below. Rob, I will send that to you now. Corey, I will send that to you.
That's awesome. Yeah, Dan, I just want to add to that. I agree, because sometimes I go back and forth. Like, sometimes I feel like being more specific, and other times I'm more general. But one thing that we're going to be learning in the future chapter in the book that we're reading, which is Happy Pocket Full of Money, is to pick a date 30 years into the future and write down, list out, or just write down in story form in present tense, which I did, everything that you want to create in your life in the next 30 years. So it does take the pressure off, and you'll find that as you're listing out these things, everything from short term to long term, everything in the next 30 years. I'll be like 61 years old in 30 years. Probably, yes, 30, 60, 61, something like that, from now. And whatever it is, I want to own a yacht. I want to own my own theme park. Not want to. You want to say, I have now. I have created. You want to do it in either the present or future tense. Probably the present tense. That's better. Or past tense. Past or present tense. But either way, just write down everything that you want to create in the next 30 years. That'll take the pressure off saying, hey, I want to be a millionaire in a year. What if that doesn't happen? You know? Just write out everything the next 30 years, and that should give you enough ease to actually go out there and believe it, because belief is the most important thing. You need belief to create it, right? That takes the pressure off so you can actually go out there and actually do it.
There we go. Yeah, I mean that's 30 years into the future. I can understand how that one works. Is there anything else we want to go into through this more specific? Any information? I mean, I really don't know what else to say except for with quantum mechanics, which, okay, I'll get a bit scientific here. The law of attraction is related to frequencies, energy. We've talked about quantum mechanics on today's hangout. Putting out positive frequencies, putting out an intention of what you want, not doubting the universe. The universe is your own personal genie, and you can rub that lamp whenever you want, and you can wish whatever you want, and it will come to you as long as you follow specific steps. You know, we'll be talking about it. We'll probably do another hangout delving deep into the law of attraction. But anyway, I've lost my trail of thought. I'm getting it back. With the law of attraction, it's a law. Okay, it's a law, and many people think, well, you know, I haven't studied that in school, or it's never been in a book. Of course you haven't. People don't want you to know about it. You know, the people in these elite societies and people who govern our world don't want you to know about it. It's not some conspiracy either. It's because they feel they genuinely have the rights to it. However, it is a law, and it's what they call a senior law. You have the law of gravity. We learnt that one in school in Basic Physics 101. And the law of gravity, you know, what goes up must come down. don't go jumping off a building. The law of gravity is a constant law. It will always be there. However, we've been able to overcome that with the law of lift, and the law of lift is a senior law to the law of gravity. Now, the law of attraction, attracting situations, circumstances by putting out the frequencies by your brain, which is a transmitter, just like the transmitter from a satellite that gets this picture right here, or on your television, on your cell phone, is a senior law, and it's the most senior of laws in the entire universe that we know of yet. We're not scientists here. We're not, they go in this audio series. They say scientists are extremely arrogant because they will come up with something with their tool. They'll be able to test it. They'll be able to see it with whatever tool they have to see it, and they'll go, okay, well, it must be this, and that's it. Full stop. Period. No, it's always. Knowledge is ever changing. We can grasp at this knowledge, but we can't get it. If you get it, that means your learnability index, also talked about in this audio series. It's what your willingness to learn and change goes to 0. It's not 100 anymore. It's not 100%. So master this law. Master the law of attraction. Get familiar with your environment, and I'm not talking about what you see. As Abraham, what was it again? Abraham Ekius, Rob, correct me on that later, said you can either use
Abraham Hicks.
Abraham Hicks, you can use your physical eyes, or you can use your other eyes, and using your other eyes you will start to realize that what you see with your physical eyes isn't everything. It's not the only thing on the spectrum. It's not the only thing around us. So all I can say, really, my biggest advice for this hangout is become aware of as much as possible. Start studying. Start being. You're an eternal apprentice until the day you die. Your physical body dies. If you're knowledgeable, you'd know that this life, this death, isn't the only one. And I'm not talking about going to a heaven or even reincarnating. I'm saying if you truly grasp the fact that we are all energy, you know that energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only be transformed. That's just a little nugget of information for you. So my biggest advice is start learning, start getting familiar. Don't close yourself off to one area of knowledge like science. I mean, science is great, of course, don't get me wrong, but then you have spirituality. And now with quantum mechanics, science and spirituality are starting to form. People are realizing that. So be open, be aware, get yourself more aware by doing, say, the homework assignments that we put out here, the one that Rob said today, write in your journal, become more aware of magical situations in your life, become more aware of the things you want, start to ask yourself, start to ask inside of yourself, why, or who am I, or just basic questions.
Yeah, man, makes sense to me.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely attracting connection difficulties over here. I got bumped off the call again. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear, bud.
Okay. I don't know what was just discussed. I'm gonna have to replay the minute or two that I missed.
Rob, do you want to touch on what I just
going
said?
off of that.
Yeah,
that's fine. I could just go back. No worries. Yeah, we should probably be wrapping it up here soon, anyways.
No, I mean,
go for it. Yeah, definitely the homework assignments.
Exactly. And I'd love to listen.
And I'll be
for everyone who's watching this right now, and everyone who's watched the replay since the time that we've recorded this, I want to bring some people on. Pretty soon, we're going to be phasing into doing this daily hangout in a webinar format. So it'll be easier for us to bring people on because we wanted to be this a community setting, right? Because we're all in this together. We're a mastermind that travels. So we want to bring some for someone who's actually done the homework assignment tomorrow. So you'll spend a full day for the rest of the night. Start right now. Everyone, ready, set, go. Start right now. Anything magical, anything serendipitous, anything coincidental, seemingly, anything. What's the word?
All these big words are turning me on.
Yeah. Whatever, anything, all these magical, cool things that seem to line up mysteriously, just write them down. Notice them. Keep reading it over and over again when you wake up and when you go to bed. And whoever's actually did this and was serious about it, we're gonna bring you on live on this Hangout tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And by the way, that is the new set time. So if you want to mark that on your calendars for the rest of forever until we change our minds, 5 p.m. every single day, the Traveling Mastermind Google Hangout. And we want to hear from you. We want to hear from real people just like you guys what your experience was with writing down magical moments and paying attention to them, and if that shifted anything for you. So I'm really excited to do that tomorrow. Any final words before we wrap it up, guys?
I'm excited as
Corey,
well.
that
That is my
definitely
homework
finish.
assignment. Also, I have to definitely set
Everyone's excited, even the dog.
my intention. Yeah. Definitely work on my intentions at this event. My intentions, my goals, and everything became very clear. It's important to write them down, to read them every day, right when you wake up, right when you go to sleep, and to visualize them as well. I think later on in these hangouts, we'll actually get into doing some exercises, where we reprogram your mind, so to speak, and do some exercises that help you manifest what you want. And just there's a lot coming, and just be on the lookout.
Give us
Got
a quick
homework.
nugget, Corey. Give us a
Got
quick.
some homework. As bad as that sounds, but
Give us a quick exercise
yeah.
for the viewers and for us. Corey.
You want a quick exercise?
Yeah. Give the viewers and ourselves a quick exercise. One
All
of your
right.
top.
So quick exercise, right? All right. Some of you may know I'm huge on meditation, and I'm still, it's the possibilities of meditation are limitless. Um, Somewhat it ties into a form of meditation and visualization on manifesting what you would like is you find a nice quiet spot to sit down. And you could do this 5, maybe 10 minutes a day. You can start out with 5 minutes, and you get comfortable. You sit up straight. Shoulders are back, neck and head, and everything is aligned. And take a couple deep breaths in. You inhale, exhale. Do that again. Do it about 2, 3 more times, and each time you do it a little longer. So you inhale, hold it, exhale, and release. All right, now you take in your mind, you remember a spot, a place and time where you're most happy, whether it's on the beach or whether you're with a certain significant other, family, friend, whatever it may have been. And take the time right now to think about that. Okay, and of course, when you do this exercise yourself, you're going to focus and you want to recall almost every detail about that moment. And every time I do this, you should do it to the point of it makes you smile while you're sitting there visualizing it, whatever yours may be. And then you take that, and while you still have that energy, that happiness, that of that moment, you shift it over to what your intentions are, what you want to manifest, whether it's you walking to the bank, with that energy, that feel good, like you're going to cash a big check or deposit some money or take out money, or whether you're behind that steering wheel of that car that you want to manifest, whether it's a yellow Miata or Ferrari or whatever it may be, and you have that feel good, so visualize that. And after you spend like a minute or two on that, and you sit there, and when it's all said and done, you said, now I allow myself, you're speaking to the universe, you say, now I allow myself to have blank, whatever it is, prosperity, wealth, abundance, money, cars, whatever. Now I allow myself to have blank. So be it, it is done. And boom. And you do that every day. Try it 5 minutes, and it's yes, it's amazing. I
Wow.
see Dan's over there.
Wow,
Dan's in the gym right there. 5 minutes a day, you know, you just find that happy spot and you set it towards the attention of whatever, whether it be behind the wheel or cashing a check, and then boom, you tell the universe, I now allow myself. So you're allowing that acceptance. So be it, it is done. And there's more that always ties to the law of attraction. You know, make sure you thank it.
I'm writing that down right now. That was powerful.
Yo, I got an idea while you were doing that. Let me know what you guys think. I think that is exactly how we should start our daily hangouts, right? With some sort of meditation. We can try one and do that for a whole 7 days, and then we can do another one. Like, I have a whole book. It's called the Manifesting Workbook, and literally it's like maybe like a 500-page ebook that I have that has all these different exercises, all these different meditations that you can do to speed up the manifestation process in your life. And they're really, really powerful. So we can start with Corey's starting tomorrow. Just every day, just to set the intention right for this hangout and to align our energies and our intentions and get in the right mood, really. And
super idea. Great
You
idea.
should do that with a lot of things you do. Just like I do yoga as well. And before, you know, while you just begin on your mat, before you begin to practice, you set an intention of what you want to achieve through the practice. And then at the end of the practice, you recall what it was. And we could do the same thing with these hangouts. You know, you set that intention, and at the end, you recall what that intention was, and you go about your day carrying that with you. It's quite powerful.
Wow. That is extremely powerful. Where did you get this from, Corey? Just so I can...
I have an audio actually that somebody shared it, and yeah, I could see if I could find it somewhere in my terabyte hard drive of knowledge.
That is awesome. Really, really, really awesome. Yeah. I must say your voice is perfect for guided meditation. You should definitely do a YouTube channel. I shit you not. I was going off in all places.
Alright, well, I'll be looking forward to starting it off tomorrow.
Definitely.
Awesome.
Alright, guys.
If any viewers are watching, I hope you're looking forward to it as well. And practice whenever you can.
There we go. It's all about that. I've got a great feeling right now from that. You know, everything, all the energy from this hangout, everything we've been speaking about. You know, like a magical moment just to kind of come on from the homework assignment was during this hangout. I refound my purpose, or that feeling I carry with me every day. I'd lost that maybe a year ago, something like that. It wasn't as powerful, and now it's just all come rushing through. Especially with that meditation, it's just like reinforced it and projected it. I feel absolutely amazing. So it's a magical moment for me for tonight, and I'll be doing that all through the day. And it's off to bed for me. It is now 4 in the morning. I don't know how I'm going to get up at 7.
Oh my god.
That's dedication right there, people.
Yeah, seriously. Good thing we're changing to 5 p.m. Eastern time, so that's like 11 p.m. your time. So
it's all good. I wouldn't have missed this for the world, and I'm here. So all for a reason.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here, guys. Thanks for all your knowledge or your luck with it. And we will reconvene tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern time. That is GMT +1. That is 11 p.m. That's for Spain. Amsterdam time, Berlin, UK, London. That will be 10 p.m. And there we go. See you tomorrow, guys. I'm off.
Later, guys.
All right. Take care.